freedom. Wow, what a lovely tune, thank you. I don't know if you can see me through here. I can't see you through this actually. God, where's a lady's hair grip when you need one? It's totally dark in here. Hello there, if you're watching. I just seen myself for the first time. Oh dear, yes. Well, today, as you might have guessed, I am William Wallace. A little bit late getting the little advert up there. I only got up about 5 minutes ago because I was getting into this, the full plaid. Look at it. Oh, I'll give you a 12, but I can't. It's too big. And I need to move furniture. This is actually a real plaid. This is what I used to wear for years in the band Burek when we were travelling abroad, which caused me no end of problems. I'll tell you about that later. But anyway, I just thought I would start with the original theme tune from Braveheart, since I've gone to all the effort to dress up as the famous Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson, who the famous version of William Wallace. G'day, my name's William Wallace, and I'm Scotch. Yeah, I've even gone to the extent of putting on the trouble of putting on blue face paint. I even sourced the right colour. It's amazingly, this is the same, exactly the same cobalt blue, I think Marcus Watt would say, or that's my friend who's very precise about colours, or it could just be turquoise that they used in the film. Yeah, exactly the same. I've used scientific. Well, I just guessed it, to be honest. Anyway, the rather worrying thing is that, look, after washing my fingers, it's not come off, so I may be stuck with half a blue face for the next 2 days. Anyway, you got to suffer from your art. It's not like anybody's going to see me anyway. Well, if you see a guy in the shop somewhere around Tollcross in Edinburgh with a mask on and a little bit of blue on one side around the mask, it might actually be me. Anyway, I'm drinking a nice frothy milky coffee here because that's the kind of thing that was available in the Highlands way back then. Yeah, the blue paint thing was very strange in the film. I thought hard and long before doing it because it was such an anachronism. I mean, I think it's from 1,000 years before then, where we were running around wearing woad, but not Red William Wallace's time. Anyway, looked good for the film, so I thought I'd make the effort. Now, what was I going to do? I was going to play. Oh yeah. So I was going to say that was the genuine Braveheart theme tune for "The Love of a Princess." Beautiful title, which I learned specially for the show, which didn't take me long. It only took me about 2 minutes before we started because it's very easy. But it's written by James Horner, and you can't knock a good melody. That's the secret. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. See, all my tunes are far too complicated. Speaking of complicated, let's play some, and then I'll tell you about how I got into trouble with my plaid in lots of different countries. I haven't even thought about what I'm going to play today, which is really stupid of me because I've spent too much time as usual getting all my props and my costumes ready. So I'm just going to think of something completely random right now. Oh yes, Bonnie Isle of Wallasey. This is a Shetland tune. Tune number 2 until I was on it, and then I had to try and work it out as I was playing it, and I randomly ended up in the key of D there and it ended up randomly being the Sound Asleep, which is a great tune. I don't think I've ever played it on the show before, so that was good, but I've certainly never played it like that before. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what the A part was. It was a new A part. Anyway, got there in the end, and that's the important thing. That's what this show is all about, getting there in the end, getting through this. Yes, here we are in week number, I don't even know, week number 90 something probably, is it? No, it can't be, it's not been a full year yet, it must be under 52. Oh, what an idiot. Right, 30 something probably. Anyway, looks like the show's going to carry on for a while, unless they roll out the vaccine really quickly. I wonder if they can give you a vaccine for this terrible condition I've got on my face. Yes, beside me here, as usual, my new co-host, Dougal, this week. This is... I've never given him a real name anyway, have I? I'll need to name him. I can't call him Toki, because he'll never be as good as Toki was, but whatever his real name is, he's Dougal this week. And as you can see, he's got a new bone, and he's enjoying it. It's a lovely little bone, and he's munching away quite happily on that. This was the bone that came with this wig. Yes, I know it's hard to believe, ladies and gentlemen, but this is not my real hair. Actually, my real hair did look like this not that long ago. It was very unruly. But no, this is just a wig now. This is I have to do what Sean Connery had to do for most of his career after his early successful Bond. He had to wear wigs, because otherwise he just looked like an old bald guy. That's what I look like now underneath this. So yes, this wig. I was looking for something that could get that amazing hairstyle that's kind of swept back that they had in Braveheart. Mel Gibson had in the Braveheart film. But the closest I could get was. Cave woman, and it had this was all sticking up, held together with a little bone. And as I took the bone out, I thought this would work, and it just turned into this. Anyway, dog's got a new bone, so everyone's a winner. But yeah, I needed to gaffer tape it all back up to make the big quiff, but I didn't have time. So you've got the cave woman stroke caveman look. It's very nice. Anyway, it looks different. I'm going to sing you a song now. You'll be very, very pleased to hear that. I was going to tell you about. I'll tell you one embarrassing moment before I do that with the plaid. So I think I might have mentioned this before in a previous show, but this plaid is 6 meters long. It's pure wool. It's very thick. There's a few holes in it actually. I've not worn it for a year or two, but I used to wear it all the time for gigs. And yes, moths have been at it. But anyway, there's still enough material to take hours to fold up. You have to sort of lay it out on the ground and fold it all up into pleats, and then you slip a belt under it and you lie in it and you wrap it round and then you stand up and fold it over your shoulder or whatever you want to do with it. But fantastic garment. It can be a kilt, it can be a sleeping bag, it can be over the shoulder, it can be a fine apparel to wear to a special function. So many things you can do with a plate. Anyway, it takes ages because it's 6 meters by 2 meters, and it's quite heavy. It keeps you warm right enough. I'm roasting in here, and even if I was out in the Highlands running around chasing the deer, I would be still very warm, even if it was raining. And so I used to fold this up before gigs in a back room behind stage somewhere, and then have it sitting ready to roll into just before the gig. And I was once in, believe it or not, Bogota in Colombia playing. Yeah, God, it seems like a dream now. I was actually there twice. They invited me back. Unbelievable. Nobody ever invites me back the second time, unless it's to apologise. And yeah, I did the usual. We had a wee room. It was just Hacienda somewhere out in the country. An amazing place, big, like a big barn. And up in this wee room up the curved staircase, I had this room just big enough to change and put the plaid laid out all ready for me to go, and I went away down to get the sound check and everything, and I came back up to find the plaid was all neatly folded into a square pile in the on the shelf, and it was a cleaning lady had come in and thought somebody had left a terrible tartan mess on the floor and folded it all up. So I was like, it was only 5 minutes before the gig and I had to roll it all out again. And the poor cleaning lady was mortified when she came back in and find me throwing it out and folding it up and rolling around it again. Anyway, I'm sure she's still scarred mentally by that experience. I'll tell you more funny plaid stories later on. Anyway, here is a lovely tune, which you may, it's all about Scotland today, St Andrew's Day coming up tomorrow. And so I thought we'd do lots of cheesy Scottish stuff. Well, this is not cheesy, this is our unofficial national anthem. It's O Flower of Scotland. O Flower of Scotland, when will we see your like again? That fought and died for your wee bit hill and glen, and stood against him. Who's that, Dougal? Proud Edward's army, and sent him home to think again. The hills are bare now, and autumn leaves lie thick and still, stick and fill. I'm not pissed, you know. Our land that is lost now, which those so dearly held, that stood against him. Who's that, Dougal? Proud Edward's army, and sent the Get out, back down south you go. They think again. Those days are past now, and in the past they must remain. But we can still rise now. I'm rising, and be a nation again. Oh yes, we can. That's stood against. Who's that to go? Proud Edward's army, and sent them homeward to think again. Well, that really was one of the best renditions I've ever done of O Flower of Scotland. Fantastic. I actually had to sing that many times over a microphone around the world. I'm singing it a little bit more seriously, but yeah. Poor audiences around the world. Never mind, these things happen. By the way, what do you think of this handy leather sword buffer? What do you call that? A sword deflector. Yeah. Well, this was actually, if any of you watched the Sooty and Sweep Star Wars episode, this was Sweep's Obi-Wan Kenobi cloak. Yes, they've turned it into a sword deflector. That is how we recycle all the props on the show. It's the special team special team that work behind the scenes there. You don't see all the huge amount of labour that goes into making these shows every week. So yeah, prop team have done me proud with this one. And as you can see in the back, we always have a picture of our original co-host Toki, who is now living it up in retirement in Canada. As you can see this week, he's got a little beard and moustache on. Speaking of Sean Connery earlier, that was actually Sean's moustache and little goatee beard, because I was doing an extra show this week on Music from Scotland on Monday night, and I had to quickly come up with a costume because the chap that runs it, Adam, suddenly went, hey, you can fancy dressing up, mate? It was like, I was just going to do it as myself, but okay. And so I went as, very bizarrely, obscurely, Sean Connery as Ramirez, and I got the name, the mentor for Christopher Lambert in the original Highlander film, all of, what was that, 40 years ago or something. Anyway, yes, so Highlander and Braveheart in 1 week. Ooh, you're so lucky. You're so lucky out there. Another funny story with the plaid. So I was on this very night, no, sorry, tomorrow night, on that very night, about 10 years ago, I was playing in Moscow. Bizarrely in the middle of, well, it was middle of winter because it was the 30th of November. It was St Andrew's night, or St Andrew's night gig. Actually, it was probably 20 years ago now, I think about it, losing track of time. And yeah, myself and Brian O'Hara, my friend from Ireland, were, after the gig, we were walking around the streets of Moscow looking for a bar that was open. Which actually was quite hard. This was 6 o'clock in the morning, by the way, and it was snowing. It was -20. I was wearing the full plaid, all this garb, not the hair, but I had very similar real hair. And Brian was wearing full kilt getup, and surprise, surprise, we got pulled over by the cops at 6 o'clock in the morning, walking down like a tartan fireball walking down the snowy street. We were just a blaze of tartan. And yeah, they pulled us into their Lada, literally, their little Lada police car, and one guy was next to me. I was in the back. One guy next to me had a machine gun pointing at me. Another guy squeezed in on this side with, I don't know, other armaments, and Brian was in the front with the grumpy driver, and they gave us a pretty hard time. But eventually, they tried to get bribes off us because Brian didn't have his passport. You see, you're not allowed to walk around the streets of Moscow without a passport if you're a foreigner, and I very sensibly had mine tucked away somewhere, and I managed to bribe the policeman to let us go. Well, they really wanted money, but what I gave them instead was a tiny miniature bottle of vodka that I'd taken from the gifts that they were giving all the guests at the St Andrews performance we were doing, and some cigarettes because I used to smoke them, and so we're all smoking in the car going, everyone cool, guys? Yeah, can we go now? Yeah, okay, bye. So yeah, always carry a miniature bottle of vodka in your sporran, just in case of emergencies. Could get you out of a hole, I can tell you. Right, it's better play some more tunes. What have we got? We don't have anything today, so that's really disappointing, Sandy. You've not done well here, but let's play something very Scottish. I know, Scotchland the Brave. Hope these keys don't get blue at the end of the show. I mean actually blue, not down. Rendition of Scotland the Brave. The neighbours must have been loving that. You can hear them running around upstairs. Now Dougal, we've talked about this before. I know you're not quite as fit as Tucky, but could you please move around a little bit more when I'm playing? and maybe just roll back and forward in your little wheels there. That would be very nice if you could do that, because it's some entertainment for the folks back home. By the way, those of you who are missing Toki, and I still am very much, I did get another communication from him via his owner, Alabama, and he's having a rare old time in Canada, frolicking in the snow. It's really heavy snow in Ontario where he is, and he is he's loving it. He's loving it, although it's a little bit chilly. He must be one of the few creatures in the world that thinks the weather in Scotland is good, because it's not so cold as where he is. Anyway, hope you're having a nice time, Toki. I was promised a little picture soon of the snow, but she's not managed. Alabama's owner's not managed to get one of him leaping out the snow yet. He's just been sort of buried in it. He's just like tunneling. He's tunneling through the snow at the minute. So as soon as he pops his head out, we'll get a photo and we'll show it to you. But I'll tell you what, I've got something to show you that I got sent in a package. I just got it from my neighbour, handed it over minutes before the show began, and it was I thought it was an Amazon delivery, because it was this Amazon box, which has been very handy, by the way, for propping up little Dougal here. But it was a box full of gifts, and it's from Davy English, the wonderful chap that occasionally sends me poems. I don't know if you ever read the one I put up about Toki that he wrote. He's a big fan of the show. He sent me all sorts of goodies inside it, which I will show you in a minute, but I'd just like to show you this first of all. He sent me 20 Christmas cards that he's made himself, with me and Tokers on the front. Look at that. And he's given us little Christmas hats. Is that not amazing? Yeah, that's fantastic. So 20 lucky friends out there are going to get this Christmas card from me. It's absolutely brilliant. And on the back it's got a wee bones and banana products. That's fantastic, because that was Toki's favourite stick. Davey, thank you so much for that. It was so kind of you. I did send him a message just before the show asking if he was okay about me mentioning him, but I didn't get a reply, so I hope that's okay, Davey. But anyway, I'd just like to show you some of the other things you put in the gift box. Jelly babies, Doctor Who episode. That's so kind, because I didn't actually get around to replacing them in my car, because they're supposed to be my my sugar, emergency sugar if I have a hypo, because I'm diabetic. And he also sent, look at these mini glow-in-the-dark lightsaber pens. Yeah, so I'm going to have to do another Star Wars episode. That's just the right size for a little Dougal dog. Darth Dougal. And also, to help me with all my my facial hair disasters, look, sticky double-sided tape and Prick Stick. So I'll try these out, Davey. Thank you so much for that. That was Davey English, who gave me all these wonderful presents. Thank you. Now, I'm going to thank you all with a wonderful song. Yeah, those of you still watching. This is a serious song. This is by the great Hamish Henderson, who I was lucky enough to meet, actually. And I think the first time I was in Coda Music Shop when we were doing a launch of an album. Was it All the Bairns of Adam, or the Hamish Henderson tribute album? Album, yeah, I played on it anyway, whichever album it was. And it was a wonderful event, and it was wonderful to meet the great man himself. Sadly no longer with us, but a towering force in Scottish history and musical ethnology, and fantastic. This is a song which should be the national anthem. Freedom Come All Ya, written by Hamish Henderson. Just gonna find the key. Rock the wind in the clear day's dawn, and blows the clouds, he'll stir gouty o'er the bay. But there's more nor rock wind blowing through the great glen o' the Wilt is. It's a thought that will garu rottens, that was a bit rotten, oh the rogues that gang fresh and gay. Take the road and seek their loanings, for their ill poised to sport and play. Nay, will the bonny gallants march to war when our braggarts foully call, or we waves scrape at heath and clachan, mourn the ships sailing in the boomy law. Broken families and lands we've heried, welcome Scotland, the brave nay mair. Black and white, in Pillar Merit, mack the vile barracks of the master's care. So come all ye fantastic Freedom Camellia. Well, not the most fantastic version you've ever heard, no doubt, but a wonderful song. That was by the great Hamish Henderson. And I've got another little treat for you now. This is unbelievable. I can't believe I'm about to do this. Not take a drink of Coke, that's very anachronistic. That's almost as anachronistic as this blue face paint. No, I'm going to try and give you a famous tune about William Wallace on another instrument. No, it's not a glockenspiel this time. It's actually a set of bagpipes, and I have to warn you, I don't play the bagpipes, but I did. Oh, well, as you can see, never pick up your bagpipes by the drones because they fall off. As you can see, I'm not used to dealing with this mighty beast, but this is a set of practice pipes from Bagpipes Galore, who are a wonderful shop in Edinburgh, and they are almost playable. I mean, they're very playable. I can almost play them. But this is the tune that you usually start with on the pipes, and I haven't progressed beyond it for 30 years. It's called Scots Wi Hae. Scots Wi Hae, where Wallace bled, and I'm going to try and play it on the pipes now. So, well, here goes. Here goes. Let's get on with it. Hope my not slipping. Slipknot. That's what I should do. Heavy metal episode. Oh my god, that's such hard work. Honestly, the accordion's a piece of cake compared to the bagpipes. Anyway, great fun. One day I'll get on to tune number 2. I hope you enjoyed that. Was that enjoyable? I don't know. One of the reeds started to go. It started to die just as soon as I started playing, and then it truly died. Then it decided to come back to life later on. It was like an arrangement. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. I'm gonna enjoy watching that later. Not. Anyway, tragic news today, folks. David Prowse, Big Dave Prowse, who was the body, not the voice, but the body of Darth Vader. Not only that, but he was also Green Cross Code Man, for those of you born in my era who remember his very important road safety adverts on the television. He sadly died yesterday, aged 85, incredible age. So what a guy. I actually met Dave Prowse, not once, but twice. Yeah, amazing. First of all, it was 1 year at the Highland Show out at Ingliston, which, like everything else this year, sadly was cancelled. But I normally go out to the Highland Show just for old time's sake, because my dad was the vet there, and we always used to go every year. It was magic. And there was wonderful things like the baked potato shop. It's not there anymore. But you still get free samples of cheese and stuff like that. They used to get wonderful, the most amazing baked potatoes ever from the baked potato shop. It was like a pavilion with a big pointy roof, and somewhere 1 year way around the back, like, this guy was super famous, but this was even after he'd done Star Wars, I think. But there around the back in this little tiny gazebo, in a row of other gazebos selling like shepherd's crooks and, you know, barber jackets and this kind of, you know, shorn sheep fare. There was Dave Prowse standing in a pair of green wellies with his full Green Cross Code Man suit on, just standing there. Nobody was talking to him, and I was like, oh my god, it's Green Cross? No, I'm Crash. He was Green Cross Code Man. And it was absolutely brilliant. I was amazed, and I was truly in awe. I was like, ah. But then years later, I also met him again when I took my son, who was only like 5 or 6 at the time, and his little pal, because they were big Star Wars fans. And I took them to meet him when he came up to visit a pub. I think it was some relative of his owned the pub in Polwarth. And I saw it in the evening news advertised that Darth Vader himself, Dave Prowse, was going to be visiting the pub. And he did. He took ages. He was late because I think his sat nav wasn't very good. On the Death Star, its technology is brilliant. It can get you where you want to be to blow up the planet Alderaan full like that. But in his little mini car that he was driving, he couldn't find the pub. But eventually, about an hour late, he turned up. But he was waiting on a double hip replacement, and so he had two walking sticks, and he sort of hauled himself out of this tiny car because he's like 6'6". A giant, and then he got the sticks out and he came sort of hobbling over very slowly. Still a giant of a man and still really big and muscly, but could hardly walk because he was waiting on these hip replacements. And my son's little pal BC goes, "That's not Darth Vader, that's just an old guy on sticks." I was like, it is. Oh my God, my knot's come. My slip knot has slipped. I can't believe this. In the middle of a show, my props always let me down. If it's not the moustache, it's the over the shoulder. So the over the shoulder tartans let me down. Yeah. I said that is Darth Vader. Anyway, given this idea, like I can't believe that David Prowse never thought this. He was always very good about the fact that James Earl Jones was replaced him for the voice because he's from Bristol. It could have been, "Hey, look, I'm your father." Well, I don't know what that was. Sorry about that. Sorry, it wasn't Bristol. Anyway, but it wouldn't have been quite the same as, "Look, I am your father." So what I thought he could have done, this would have been brilliant, is if he could have combined Darth Vader and Green Cross Codeman, because Green Cross Codeman's big catchphrase was, "Children, stop. Look, listen." So, having the Darth Vader helmet handy from the last show, not the last show I did Darth Vader, I thought you could do this instead. Bear with me. Whoa, it's very hairy in here. Okay. Look, stop, listen, I am your father. Wasn't that brilliant? See, that was combining both. Oh, never mind. It's a silly idea. Right, I'm going to play something else. Right, I'm going to let that go. I don't know what yet, because I haven't actually thought of any tunes for this show today, because I've been a lazy boy. However, we'll see. Why not do some jigs? Campbellton Loch. That's nice and Scottish. I've played it once before, but why not? I sang it, so I'll give you the instrumental version, which will be much less frightening for you all. I wish you were whiskey. Speaking of which, I should have had a whiskey. Never mind my Coca-Cola and my fancy frothy coffees. We should have a whiskey out here for St Andrews night. But there's so many places I've played around the world on St Andrews night. Actually, I'll be playing, yeah, believe it or not, folks, I am doing a gig tomorrow for St Andrews night for Sutherland, is it Sutherland Shinty Society? No, Sutherland something society, I can't remember. Anyway, a friend of mine, Andrew McKenzie, whose wedding I played at, that was last year. God, that seems like an aeon ago. It was a proper wedding with guests and music and everything. Not like the weddings you get this year. 2020, what a year. Yeah, so he's organising it. Anyway, I'm going off the sidetracks again, sorry. So it's an online thing this year. They normally have a fundraiser. And I'll see if somebody will no doubt put up a link, because I can't remember the link, but it's Sutherland something. And it starts tomorrow night, and I'm doing a little 10-minute spot, but there's a great lineup on it actually, as well as me obviously. Yes, I'll be doing it from my living room. So I'm doing a St Andrew's night gig tomorrow from my living room. But in the past, I've done them, as I said, from Colombia, Moscow. Have I ever done one? I was asked to do one in Australia. I just couldn't do it because I normally do the some stuff over here. But one day I'll get over to Australia for a St Andrew's night gig. I've also done it in the Middle East. I used to do quite a lot of them in the Middle East. That's fantastic. Oman and Dubai, Abu Dhabi. That was brilliant. That was one of the hottest St Andrews nights I've ever done. Yeah, great. Anyway, we'll maybe get back out there again into the world in a year or so. See what happens. What was I going to say? There is. Oh yes, this is a very funny story. I don't know if you caught it on the news or on social media, but Sheila McWhirter, who's a friend of mine from years ago, she used to sing in Burach a long time ago. Wonderful singer and a lovely person. I know she often watches the show because she often comments on it. She made the international media, not just like the small on my own phone media that I do. She was on the Real TV, the thing up there behind me. This week she was on the Piers Morgan and Breakfast Show, whatever that is. Is it ITV? I don't know. I'm never up that early to watch Breakfast TV. Because she had this wonderful thing where her and her friend Tim Porteous met, but they couldn't travel because of the travel ban. They couldn't meet ones on one side of this bridge in Musselburgh over the river, and the other ones on the other, Portobello and Musselburgh or something like that. So they took out a wee deck chair, and just at the sign in the middle of the bridge where it says the county difference, because there were different tiers, they sat there with a little flask of coffee and a couple of deck chairs chatting. And some guy took a video of it on his phone as he was driving past, which is highly illegal by the way. It went viral, and the media came and got them to recreate it, and they filmed it, and they were interviewed on the Breakfast Show. But Piers Morgan apparently said, my friend Richie Werner, his B&B Studios, a little advert there, told me this, that Piers went, yes, they were having a blether, whatever that was. Well, a blether, of course, is a little chat, a little blether, blah, 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 blah. Blether, it's a Scots word, and what I thought would be nice, that was a lovely story anyway, well done Sheila, and that you're getting the fame you deserve finally, and I hope they ask you to sing next week on the show. Anyway, I thought it'd be good to bring out the Scottish Dictionary and just randomly flick to a word. Well, I've just randomly opened the page, and I've got H here. It says hairy. A hairy is a derogatory name for a young working class. Oh, I can't say that. Oh dear, no. Right, sorry. I'll just pick another one. Nippy sweetie. Oh, it's the Glasgow area. The Glasgow area. This is the word for the irritable, sharp-tongued person. That's a perfect description of my friend Peter Brady, and Nippy sweetie. He did actually make me a chili jelly, which I talked about once on another show. Potted Hawk. That was the name of the fantastic band that played for my 50th birthday party last year. Yes, once again I get the excuse to mention my 50th birthday party. Potted Hawk, that's fantastic. Of course, it is. It's also known as potted heed, which is a traditional dish consisting of meat from the head of a cow or pig. Delicious. Which has been boiled, chopped into small pieces, and covered in a jelly made from the stock. I mean, Scotland has it all. Anyway, get yourself a little Scottish Dictionary. That's it. That is a very little one, because I've got a really big one up there. It's the same size as the Oxford English Dictionary, full of really handy Scottish words. But don't look up hairy, because it's not nice. I'm a hairy. Right, I better play some more tunes. What could I do that's vaguely exciting? I know, I'll do one of my own tunes, because I'm allowed to do that on this show. Why don't I do, oh yes, this is your Drunken Fumbling Fingers. Might as well use this hair. Oh, I remember the days. It was great. I could toss it this way and that way. Oh yes, I love tossing this way and that way. Focus. Here's the force. I don't know, I was going to play that second tune either. I can't even remember what that's called, but yeah, it's a good tune. I've not played that for a while. Anyway, I was going to show you, you know how I normally go the full hog, the full Monty, as I was showing off about last week, and I am actually dressed completely all the way to the floor, even though you can only see from the waist up here. So I did give you a little bit of the tartan, the many folds of tartan, but I'm actually going to go all the way back over here so that you can see the full effect. There it is. It's like a giant tartan nappy, as the guys in the band used to say. Anyway, I think it's cool, but I didn't quite get to the stage of the whole job all the way to the bottom. Yes, because I'm wearing my Braveheart slippers. It really completes the look. Look at these. They're actually lovely tweed design slippers. That was a nice wee Christmas present from my son last year. Who would have known that they would have ended up on such an international show as this? Everybody will be rushing out to buy their tweed slippers after this now. Yes, and what more fitting footwear for in honour of the great St Andrews. St Andrew, of course, is patron saint of Russia as well. They love St Andrew. They love Scotland and Russia. I studied Russian at university. It'd be handy if I could remember any of it, but I did manage to order a pint successfully in Russian in many parts of the country when I was over there on tour. So that was good. All those 4 years of university paid off finally. Well, it's 2:45, folks. It's almost time to go. I'd just like to say thank you on behalf of Mel Gibson and the deceased Dave Prowse. Here he is. He's actually saying thanks very much, folks, for watching. But you just can't hear him because his voice has been dubbed over. Poor Dave Prowse. Thank you so much, folks, and we'll see you next week for another entertaining show. No idea what it is yet. I never do, but I'm sure I will come up with something. And goodbye. Well, finally take this off. I look like one of these actors. Yes, I'm an actor. It feels, actually I don't miss the old long hair at all. You know, last night, folks, I know I'm going to pretend to turn this off. I know you're still really watching. Last night I actually made myself some toast when I was getting the wig out and getting ready for the show. And, you know, I was eating it and suddenly I was like, what the? And there was half of that wig had ended up in the toast. I've no idea. It's molting terribly. So if you do want to go out there and try doing a show like this, buy quality wigs, because it's important to get the right gear, because otherwise you'll end up with hairs in your toast. Anyway, that's a good bit of useful advice for St Andrew's night. Bye.